Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the cooking segment right here on The Breakfast Show. This is a new show where we'll be bringing you brand new, exciting recipes that you can make in the comfort of your own home. So I'm here today with Parvinder Multani, the head chef here at Midden Restaurant, and we'll be bringing you a recipe that you can hopefully make yourselves. So Parvinder, before we get started, tell me a bit about yourself. I mean, how long have you been a chef now?
Well, it's been 28 years actually.
Wow.
Started in 1987.
Yeah.
I joined Bombay Catering College in Mumbai.
Yeah.
And then I got selected for the Oberoi Hotels.
Wow, and that's quite a big deal, isn't it?
Well, I was on one of the senior positions in Oberoi Hotel. I was one of the youngest executive chef. I moved to England in about 2000.
Yeah.
And joined a company called Cafe Laziz, and I came to Birmingham at the mailbox and opened the restaurant Cafe Laziz.
Oh, okay.
So the culinary career carried on,
Yeah.
and since 2007 I'm at Millen's.
Excellent.
Again, doing the same thing, what I love doing, cooking.
And do you find that here is the place where you can sort of bring your own ideas and make new experiments and stuff? Is that what you're focusing on at the moment?
For a chef, it's very important that he gets a chance to do what he wants to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's an art, it's
Yeah.
a science, okay? What a chef does is, he does the same science and the same art. He produces a product and puts that on the plate. That's where the passion is.
Yeah.
And when you get the appreciation for that plate, that's when the job of a chef is completed.
Absolutely.
You know, so coming out with new dishes, doing something which is ethically and morally correct, because a customer puts lots of faith on the chef.
Yeah.
You're almost in the hands of the chef, and he has to look after your health. He has to look after your taste buds,
Yeah.
and he has to produce something which is correct and safe, so that you can enjoy the dish without worrying about your health things or something going wrong with you.
And do you think to produce that perfect dish, whether you're a chef or whether you're at home, do you think how important is it to have that passion and that love? And you know, they always say love is an ingredient, don't they?
Yes.
I mean, how important do
I'll
you
tell
think
you
that
something
is?
what my boss told me once. He was a German chef under whom I trained.
Yeah.
And one day he comes and he puts on a blackboard, he writes, he said, the fire in the belly of a cook is very important. Without it, the food tastes old. And I can tell you something,
Yeah.
even after 28 years and probably further, more years that I'm going to be chefing,
Yeah.
that is going to be the hallmark of my trade.
Yeah.
And that's what I love doing.
Well, brilliant. I mean, I'm really excited already to find out what you've got for us. So what have you brought for us today?
Well, we're going to do a very nice and a very healthy and a simple dish called Naram Dil Tikki. My concept of food is that the best person to teach you the food is your own parents,
Yeah.
your own folks, your own elders. They know what the food is all about.
Yeah.
You got to learn the basics from them. What I'm going to teach you is a take from there. I will try to put the same food, which is normally what you've been eating all your life, but I'm going to give a bit more of glamour, make it slightly more posh, so that you can bring those contemporary environment and the dish in front of your friends,
Yeah.
and don't have to think that you're going to serve an aloo tikki, or you're going to serve a hara chana tikki,
Yeah.
or a palak tikki.
So that's where it's derived from, isn't it? So we've got,
Yes.
you're taking your normal aloo tikki that you see probably
Yes.
all the time, very common,
Yes.
and you're putting your own spin on that.
That's what I'm going to do.
Sounds
And-
exciting.
And for that, we don't do any special ingredients.
Yeah.
If you look at the ingredients, they're exactly what you have at home.
Yeah.
So don't think that the chefs use any magic spice. Salt, turmeric, red chili powder, dhania powder, and jeera powder.
Absolutely. And I can see there's only literally 4 ingredients to this.
Well,
that
what I've
makes this
done is
dish.
I've done a bit of prep so that we do not have to waste our time going into the nitty-gritties.
Yeah.
What I've got is I've got mashed potatoes, and what I've done is I've seasoned the mashed potatoes with salt and pepper, and I put some breadcrumbs into it.
Okay.
So that the binding remains how I want the binding to be.
Okay.
The chana dal has been boiled, pre-boiled and cooked well. Now this is where your protein comes into your food. So you got carbohydrates,
Yep.
you got the proteins, and you got the calcium coming from your greens.
So with the chana dal, does it have to be quite mushy and easy to mash together?
It has to be well cooked.
Okay.
And it should be easily, look at this. I
That's
can
it,
mash
yeah.
it up with the back of the spoon. This is the consistency that you
But
want.
not too much, clearly.
Yes,
you want to
but
have a bit of a
even when
bite.
you mix it together and you can see the chana dal, I don't think it's harmful because it's not raw.
Yeah.
It's not soaked. It's actually been boiled very well.
So as long as it's cooked, that's the main
Well,
thing.
it has to be cooked. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's otherwise you won't get the nutrients of what you're looking at. It's
Gee.
got to be indigestible. So what's the point?
Yeah.
And the third one is the spinach. Now I've used fresh chopped spinach. I've blanched it. I've only blanched it. Okay.
So
to
difference
the
between
colour-
boiling and blanching.
when you blanch it, basically you boil it well,
Yeah.
cook it, and then you cool it down with the ice cubes or cold water.
Is that to keep the colour or to keep the
Yes,
nutrients
it's
in?
to keep the nutrients and the color both. Remember one thing,
Yeah.
greens do not have to be cooked with cover on
Okay.
because the vitamin C, as it goes up with the boiling, with the evaporation,
Do.
falls back and turns the color mushy.
Okay, so we just boil it for a bit and then straight away, is it just straight away you put it into ice cold water?
Yes, ice cold water, and that's called shocking basically.
Okay.
So that stops the cooking process and retains the color. One thing you will have to understand, and this is the modern cooking, is the taste is very important, the healthy bit is very important, but also the presentation. That is the most important bit.
And I think that's something we are bringing to the show, isn't
Yes.
it? To show how we can present food, whether it's normal, it's very simple food, but
That's
when
correct.
it's nicely on a plate, you just feel to eat it. You eat with your eyes, don't you?
That's correct. You
Absolutely.
always eat with your eyes. What I would say is follow your own instincts when you're cooking so that you can arrive at the masalas and the spices and the combination. As far as the main ingredient is concerned,
Yeah.
the binding or the carbohydrate should be 50% of the tikki.
Okay.
So basically you're looking at 25% of the spinach. I would say another 25% of the chana, or maybe a bit less, but I think 25 should be good enough. And then what you got to do is you got to start mixing it together.
And you can just use a fork.
Yeah,
very simple.
you can use a fork.
Do you use your
You can
hands?
use your hands. Okay. I've got to do other things as well, so I'm not at the moment touching my hands into it. But
Okay.
I've done something before this,
Yeah.
and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that.
So we've got this binded together, sort of mashed. So all the ingredients are combined now,
Yes.
aren't
Now
they?
I've taken all the ingredients. I've combined it here, and now what I'm going to do is just going to get a portion out, and this is where the whole thing is.
This is the.
Now,
way
this
you're
is what
making
you've
the
seen
shape.
probably every time being done in your family
Yeah.
at home. Okay, a portion. Now this is, for example, a portion I've got.
About a fist size. sort
Yeah, a
of.
small fist size.
Yeah. So you're just putting the cheese in the middle.
I'm just putting the cheese in the center.
And it covers it
and,
all.
and then I'll give you the twist now, where the twist comes in. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, if we have 3 of these,
Yeah.
look at that. Okay, it's been bound well. So make a well in the
quite
center.
simple with your-
yeah, make a
with
well in the
the-
center. Put the cheese and then seal it like we do probably for the stuffed parathe and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where does the twist come? If I just flatten this,
Yeah.
it becomes a tikki.
Yes. And
But-
the cheese might pop out as well, won't it?
No, the cheese would react the same way as it
Okay.
would on something else. But what I'm going to do here is I've got this mold, heart-shaped mold,
Yeah.
and this is where the Naram Dil Tikki will come into play. So if
Okay.
I look at that, this is how you shape it.
So you're
Clean
making
the
that heart
sides.
shape.
You know, then I just need to get it out of the mold.
And you just push that
Now
through.
what
Do you
you get-
oil the cutter? or
Yes, you
anything, or-
can.
Yeah.
You can cut. Otherwise, you'll find this crumbs or
Sticks to
the
the
sticky bits on your finger.
Yeah.
But the idea is that these have to come correct. Okay. Now, if I do it again, for example,
And you're just pushing that through, sort of.
yeah, and just make sure that the cheese doesn't pop up
Yeah.
because it has to be exactly in the center. If the cheese comes out, it's going to go into the oil. It's going to make the oil messy.
Yeah.
And believe me, cheese tastes so nice when it's melted, but exactly opposite when it's burnt.
When it's burnt, yeah.
Once the molds are complete,
Yeah.
we have got the shapes of the Naram Dil. Now, that's when the frying would happen.
Is it quite, is the mould quite strong? It won't like sort of crumble or fall apart, is
Well,
it quite?
if the binding is correct,
Yes.
if the potatoes are of the good quality, okay, and the binding is correct,
And that's where the breadcrumbs, I suppose, are quite important, aren't they?
breadcrumbs are important. Then again, your chickpeas, the dal is also adding on as a binding there to some
Okay.
extent, and the spinach. As long as there's no water in the spinach, you should be okay with it.
So it needs
Okay?
to be quite dry.
But yes, one thing what I would again suggest is good quality of potatoes is a must. You know.
Yeah.
Now, when we do the frying,
Yeah. You just put it straight in.
yes, you just put it there.
Can you do an alternative? Can you do shallow frying or grilling? Or
Yes,
does
you
that
can
not
do
work?
shallow frying, but don't forget one thing: the shallow frying is not reducing the calorie content. And again, oil is only used as a medium of cooking. You know, what you need to do then is, when you're doing the cooking, we have to make sure that if it's drained well, you do
Yeah.
not have to worry about the oil. It's going to be the same in shallow.
And so if you're just using a fresh, new oil,
Yes.
it's fine.
But you can do shallow frying with olive oil if
Yes.
you feel. But don't think that olive oil got less calories in it. Okay, the calorie.
So it's
content-
not necessary that
The
deep
only
frying
thing
is
is it is a
always...
bit more healthier.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Now look at the Naram Dil Tikkis, how they are.
They're frying together, aren't
Yeah,
they? So
they're frying.
what sort of colour are we looking for? How do we
Golden
want it
brown
done?
as
Yeah.
usual, and this is what a golden rule would be always.
Yeah.
You know, and once these are fried, what we're going to do look at then is the presentation. Now
Yes.
this is where our concept comes in, the subtle touch. How do you present your food? And what we discussed first time, you eat with your eyes.
Yes.
So you got to make sure. So far, what we've done is correct. Going by the roots, we got the aloo tikki,
Yeah.
which is how our mom makes it. We got spinach and chana to give the nutrient content to it. That's changed the aloo tikki, and also we changed the shape of the aloo tikki from the normal shape to the heart.
And it's a brand new dish.
And
isn't
we
it?
put the cheese in the center to
Yeah.
give the softness in it. And now we're doing the frying bit. And now what is left is the presentation.
Yes.
After the frying, when we got these tikkis ready,
Yeah.
now comes the presentation. Again, there's nothing we got here which you don't have at home.
Yep.
Simple white plate. It is what you cook and how you present it. That's what we're going to concentrate on.
Okay.
First thing I need is, and this is where again going further from the healthy touch of some salad leaves, okay? And the most important thing with the salad leaf,
Yeah.
the dressing.
Yes.
You can make a dressing, keep it in a bottle, give it a shake, and then just sprinkle it over it.
What's gone into your dressing
The
then?
dressing has got oil, lemon juice,
Yeah.
salt, and pepper.
Quite simple.
Very simple. And without the oil, without the dressing, the salad will be same like food without salt.
Yes. Very boring.
So
very
yes, very
bland.
boring. Just keep it very lightly in the center of the plate, and comes your tikki, which can be presented like this.
I mean, it's already looking better than just putting it on a plate.
It's
isn't it? A
looking
little
better,
goes a
and I've
long
got some
way.
mint sauce here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, I know that spinach, when you cook spinach, turns a bit dark in
Yes.
color.
Yeah.
To make it look slightly more appetizing, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to put a dot of mint chutney, and there it is ready to eat.
That looks fantastic. I mean, as you've said, a little goes such a long way, doesn't it? Just by putting things together rather than just throwing it all on a plate, it's clearly gone a long way. So there we have it, our recipe, the Naram Dil Tikki. So clearly very simple, very easy to make using just 4 ingredients. We had the mashed potatoes, the spinach, the chana dal and the cheese, which can be any cheese that you want to use. So join us again next week for a different recipe that we'll be bringing you. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.